Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, SB, and as you can see here, we are going to be making this little mini hanging teardrop basket. And it's super easy, it works up super fast, and yeah, it's really easy. And I want you to know that this is an updated video. I do have an older video of this, but it had a little bit of mistakes in there. So I decided to just redo the whole video, redo the pattern, which by the way, the written pattern is available in my Kofi shop or my coffee shop, and it'll be linked in the description box below. And that just helps support this channel. Other than that, this video is always free and you are more than welcome to watch it and continue on to the pattern. So let's get to it. So what you're going to need to complete this project is, of course, your yarn. And the yarn that we are using for this project is from hobby.com. And it is ribbon, 100% cotton ribbon yarn. And it is a bulky style type of yarn. And you're only going to need one ball or one skein of it. You're also going to need your crochet hook, which today we are using an H8 or a 5mm hook. And this is just so the bag stays nice and tight. You're also going to need a stitch marker, some scissors, and a large tapestry needle for weaving in your ends. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to mention that the chain 2 at the beginning of the rounds do not count as your stitch, so let's go ahead and get started. For round 1, we are going to make a magic circle or an adjustable ring, and just use whatever method is comfortable to you. And we are going to start with a chain 2. And we are going to place 12 double crochets into our ring. As always, be sure to mark your first stitch. Remember that the chain 2 at the beginning does not count. So continue on placing your double crochets into the ring. Let's go ahead and close our ring. Making sure at the end of your round that you have the correct number of stitches. So we should have 12 in this first round. Let's go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch. And what I like to do for these types of projects is to tighten up this slip stitch. So that way it's not visible. And now we are going to chain 2. And we're going to go on to round 2. So for round 2, we are going to be increasing every single stitch. So 2 double crochets into that first stitch, remembering that the chain 2 does not count. And 2 double crochets into every single stitch around for a total of 24 stitches. So go ahead and increase every single stitch around, remembering to count all of your stitches, and you should end with 24 double crochets. All right, let's slip stitch to our first stitch of the round. Tighten up that slip stitch, chain 2, and let's move on to round 3. So round 3 is another increase round. We are going to double crochet into our first stitch. Place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Be sure to mark your first stitch. And that is going to be the repeating pattern all the way around. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So repeat that all the way around for a total of 36 stitches. All right, slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, chain 2, and now we are going on to round 4. And this is where we're going to start shaping our bag. So at the end of round 3, you should have had 36 double crochets. And on to round 4, we are going to place 3 double crochets into our first stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Be sure to mark your first stitch. All right, so now we are going to double crochet all the way around to the beginning, and it should be 35 double crochets for a total of 38 double crochets at the end of the round. So let's go ahead and just simply double crochet. All right, so let's go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch. Chain 2. Okay, on to round 5. We are going to double crochet into the first stitch. Place your stitch marker. And we are going to place 3 double crochets into the next stitch. 2 and 3. And now we are going to simply double crochet all the way around to the beginning. And at the end of this round, you should have a total of 40 double crochets. So let's go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch, chain 2. Okay, and let's move on to round 6. So for round 6, we are going to double crochet into the first 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. And in the third stitch, we are going to place 3 double crochets. 2 and now we are going to double crochet into every single stitch around, and you should have a total of 42 stitches at the end of round 6. And after round 6, this is what your basket should be looking like. So it's starting to kind of take on that shape that we want. So let's go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch of the round. Chain 2, and let's move on to round 7. So round 7 is where we're going to start our decreases, and we are still going to be increasing the top the way we've been doing in rounds 6 and 5. But when we reach the bottom here, we are going to place some decreases so that way we kind of create that little cup. So let's go ahead and continue on. We are going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And in the 4th stitch, we are going to place 3 double stitches. So that was our increase right there. Okay, so and now we are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 16 stitches. Okay, that's the 16th stitch right here. And now we are going to do 3 decreases. So we are going to decrease the next 2 stitches. And these are double crochet decreases. So that's 1 decrease. Decrease the next 2 stitches. 2 decreases, decrease the next 2 stitches, and that is 3 decreases done. And now we are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 16 stitches. All right, so that is the end of round 7. Let's go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch. And at the end of this round, you should have 41 stitches total. Let's chain 2, and now on to round 8. So round 8, we are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. And in the 5th stitch, we are going to place 3 double crochets into that 1 stitch. And now we are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 15 stitches. Okay, so once again, we are going to decrease 3 times. So decrease the next 2 stitches. That's 1 decrease. Decrease the next 2 stitches. 2 decreases, decrease the next 2 stitches, three decreases complete. And now we are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 15 stitches. Okay, so let's slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. And that is the end of our shaping and our decreasing and increasing. So this is what you should have so far. And now, if you want, you can go ahead and join a contrasting color, and we are going to finish up this little basket. So let's move on to round 9. So we are going to chain 1, and we are simply going to single crochet into every single stitch for a total of 40 single crochets. And do not fasten off, because we are going to be making the little hanging loop after this round. Okay, so that was the end of round 9. So now we are gonna make our way basically to the top of our bag. So in order to do this, we are going to slip stitch across 5 stitches. So slip stitch our first stitch of the round, that's 1. Second stitch, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this should bring you approximately to the center of your bag. Now, if yours did not move to the center, just adjust where you place your slip stitches. That's perfectly fine, because everybody's tension is different and everybody does their stitches a little differently. So yeah. So let's continue on. This is going to be a real simple way of doing this. This is totally adjustable and up to you how many stitches you do. But what I do is I chain 12. So just chain up 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we're going to have this chain just hanging out. So let's go ahead and slip stitch the next 2 stitches. So we are not slip stitching into the stitch that we chained out of, as you can see here. We're going to go into the next stitch right next to it. Slip stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. So that's basically going to act as our turning chain. So let's turn our work. And now we are going to be working into our chain. This is completely optional and you do not have to do this, but I find that it makes the loop a little more sturdy. So let's go ahead and work into the back of our chain. So let's make sure that we're in the correct chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I am going to work into the back loop of my chain. And that can be a little difficult, but once you locate it, you can just kind of hold it like this in your hands, so that way you can see the back bump of your chain. And I did not do a turning chain, but you're more than welcome to do that if it makes it easier. So just single crochet across your 12 chains. All right, once you get all of that done, we are simply going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And we are done, and we can fasten off. And what I like to add to my little bag here is a little wrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave maybe 24 inches, about 2 feet of thread. I mean, you probably won't need that much, but I like to be a little on the side of, you know, excess because I find it just easier if you have more to work with. So I'm going to pull this all the way through. Okay, so in order to wrap our hanging loop, what we're going to do is we're going to create a little loop with our tail. And we're just going to simply have it hanging out here next to the actual hanging loop. And we're going to start wrapping our little loop to create that little wrap. So we're just going to simply go around and around until we're satisfied. And you just go around as many times as you'd like. All right, that looks good to me. I'm just going to kind of adjust my loop. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to pass it through the loop that we left hanging out. And then we're just going to simply tighten it up. So basically what that did, it just looped it around. As you can see, it's right here. And now all I am going to do is I'm going to pass it around again like this. And I am going to take my tapestry needle and just weave it up through where I wrapped. And this shouldn't go anywhere because it's just, you know, nobody's really going to be messing with it. So what I like to do with ribbon yarn is to cut it at an angle so that way I can feed it through the tapestry needle easier. So just like that. And now we can easily just pass it through. So now I'm just going to go up in between through the middle, as you can see. Just pass it all the way through and tighten that up. There we go. And now we can just cut this because that's not going to go anywhere. And just stuff that in there. And there we go. All that's left to do is to weave in this end here, which I'll go ahead and do that while I have you guys here. And sometimes ribbon yarn is a little hard to work with whenever you're weaving in ends. So just go slow, go through every single stitch. Don't split them the way I did right there. And since this is a basket, really nobody should be, you know, pulling on it or playing with it or anything. So don't worry too much about how many stitches you're going through. I'm good with that. Cut that. And there we go. Our little hanging basket is complete. and you can choose which side you want hanging out. Personally, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter which side you want hanging out. There is no right or wrong in this. So there we go. I actually like this side. Looks prettier. All right, so our hanging basket is all complete. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you make a lot of these. They are so cute. I love them to place little plants or even like some little amigurumi in them. They're like so cute. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I will attempt to answer it. And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want more, and I will see you later. Happy crocheting. Bye.